I did the simple Wim Hof breathing tutorial or the guided meditation on YouTube, which there's 3 rounds, and my first experience was really quite phenomenal.
And during the few moments that we have,
and let go.
Therapies. So it's not cognitive in origin only, but it's visceral.
I want to talk right down to earth in a language that everybody here can easily understand.
Having done meditation for quite a few years, so I started doing meditation in a very real, kind of dedicated way, starting in 2013, and then gradually becoming more prevalent in my life as I went forward in time, both personally and in my practice. But doing the Wim Hof technique, I had a different experience immediately, and I was very curious. I was very excited, and continued to do the Wim Hof, and then added, after just a couple of days, I added the cold shower exposure, and my first exposure was, 6 seconds, not long at all. Worked up to 15, 20 seconds, and then a minute, and then eventually a couple of days went by as I'm doing this cold water exposure via the showers, and I just had a conversation with myself, like, it's just cold water. What's the worst that can happen? Nothing. So I stayed in it after about a week and a half. I stayed in that cold shower a good minute and a half, and then all of a sudden, that cold water just became water, just became wet. And I was amazed. I was amazed at how my physiology had changed and what was happening internally. So I'll go to the science here just for a minute, because I'm fascinated by what I'm seeing and what the studies indicate. And that's that when I'm doing the Wim Hof breathing, I'm increasing O2, decreasing CO2. So I'm taking on more oxygen, and that has a direct implication to my blood. So blood gases can be either alkaline or acidic. And the acidity in the blood actually is what causes us to feel like we need to have this gasp of air when we're holding our breath. So it's that buildup of acidity and the drop in oxygen in your blood, and the increase of carbon dioxide that causes us to want to breathe. But by doing the Wim Hof breathing method, what we're doing is we're bolusing the system or introducing to the system a great deal of oxygen. And so we're getting more and more O2 every round that we're doing. And at the end of that round, obviously, we've increased alkalinity, so we're very alkaline. We've become the alchemist, as Wim would say. And I'm able to hold my breath for, initially it was 30 seconds, and then a minute, and then a minute and a half, and then 2, and then 2.5 minutes, and then 3, and then 3.5, and then yes, over 4 minutes for myself. And it's not about that. It's not about the competition of, how many minutes can I, or how long can I hold my breath on those breath holds, but more so about perfecting the actual meditation itself. And I don't even know if I'm using the word right there in perfecting. It's more along the lines of letting go absolutely, and being able to enjoy the moment, be in the moment. And the longer that I do this practice, it seems like the better I get at it. Now, moving over to the cold water exposure, I started off, like I mentioned, with showers and did that for approximately 2 weeks. But in the back of my mind, I started to become more and more curious about, like, what would a cold plunge look like? So I looked at the Facebook marketplace and was looking for something used, couldn't find that. So we ended up buying something new, and I'm glad that I took this next step, because I have never felt this good. And I'm saying that I'm saying that after years and years of being a part of recovery, being a part of mental health, understanding mental health, understanding what it means to have equanimity and how to attain equanimity of mind through diet, exercise, hobbies, leisure and fun, meditation, spiritual practices. And I thought that I had found a space years ago where I was feeling, really, really great. it doesn't even compare to the way that I feel today. And I have Wim Hof to thank for that. So looking at my practice today, I'm sharing with as many clients as I can how and why the Wim Hof method works, and then sharing some of my own experience. I do a plunge every day right now, and my plunges are at about 37 degrees, give or take a degree, and they last anywhere from 5 to 12 minutes. My plunge this morning was 12 minutes long. So here's a picture of me doing an actual plunge. And what I was trying to illustrate for you guys is, like, what does it feel like? And what can you expect if you're going to do a cold plunge? And what I will say is that the first initial getting into the plunge, yeah, it's, takes your breath away. But it's only a moment or two. And so what I'm doing immediately is I'm getting a hold of my breath. So as soon as that gasp hits, I want to match that and immediately bring that down. And remember, the 4-7-8 breath, that out breath is what engages that parasympathetic nerve, that calming nerve. So when you're in the cold, the first thing that I want you to think about is, where's your breath? Once you figure out where your breath is, get a hold of it and get it to behave. And start to use those slow out breath to engage that parasympathetic. What are some of the, I guess, the byproduct of this? What are the byproducts of this work? One, and this is a big one, my mind is so calm. It is so quiet. It's so calm and so quiet that I thought I broke something the first few weeks that I was, in this process. But what I'm realizing today is that my mind has become like a tool, and it's right here, and I can use it anytime that I want to. But when I'm not using it, it's quiet, and I love that. I would invite you to try. I would invite you to experiment with the cold and see if it doesn't do the same thing for you. Because as a mental health professional, as a trauma specialist, one of the major things that people bring to the therapy space is a difficult mind, a monkey mind, a mind that won't behave, thoughts that race, flight of ideas, and trying to wrangle that and bring that into a space that one can engage in life is difficult, and sometimes is the catalyst for other behaviors that take us further down the scale, mood altering chemicals, that sort of thing. So what I'm experiencing is equanimity of mind, calmness of body, the ability to really think about what I'm wanting to say before I say it, and then stimuli, things that are happening in my environment, they just don't affect me the way that they once used to. I have an opportunity today to do nothing instead of respond, which is empowering, which is very empowering. So if you're on the fence, if you're thinking about whether or not this was something for you, what I would suggest is try the Wim Hof breathing method. Try that for a week. Get that into your system and start to notice or see what changes, if any, happen for you. Then I would add the cold showers. You can start off with a hot shower, your normal hot shower, and then turn it to cold and stay in. Try to stay in as long as you possibly can. If it's 6 seconds, like mine was in the beginning, no big deal. You'll work your way up. Because what we're doing is we're stressing that ventrovagal system in a controlled way. And when you do that, and you do hard things like that, it makes all the other encounters for the rest of your day seem very, very little, very minuscule compared to what you experience in the morning. The brain and the body are making different correlations, because normally when we get into this pattern of breathing and this angst feeling, it's usually because of an outside stressor, some kind of a stimuli that comes in from the outside. But what we're doing is we're actually activating that kind of stressor purposely, one time right away in the morning. And now the brain makes a new correlation that this isn't something from the outside, it's something that I'm doing. So I almost become conditioned to understand that type of feeling or that type of breath does not mean that I'm in distress. It means that I need to get a hold of my breath and that I need to get it to behave. So whether you're a client at Recovery 101 or just somebody stopping by the channel to say hi or check out this video, again, I welcome you to hit the thumbs up, become a subscriber so that you know when new videos are going to be put out, and keep on keeping on.